What's up, Group Coach Nation? I got Vicki with me today. Oh my gosh. So Vicki, hold up your book. Vicki and I are opposite books here. So Podmatch, Alex Sanfilippo, right? Podmatch is freaking great. Pod Pros, all that stuff. Or if you're podcasting and you are not in Podmatch or in Pod Pros, all the resources you ever need are there, and it is the easiest freaking dating service for podcast hosts and guests. Is that the right way to call it? It's what
That's
it is.
exactly right.
If you want to meet hosts and guests and actually have them on your show and be on their shows and like find the simplest way to make that match happen, everything is like that. Anyway, we were both lucky enough to co-author host books and guest books for Podmatch. And so Vicki's in the host book, I'm in the guest book. Shameless plug there.
Yes.
We don't make any money off this, Vicki. Dang it. Where are you? Yeah, I'm this one right here. Y'all can see that. It's just so easy to see my face there. See? Okay. Congrats on bookshelf bookends. Like we're bookshelf ends.
Yes, we are.
All right, I got Vicki here talking about live video. And here's why. Because we have not talked about live video on this show in probably, I bet, a year and a half. So when the pandemic hit, we were all like, oh my gosh, everybody's going live. Talk about it. But then we all got sick of hearing about it, so we stopped. And I'm bringing this back intentionally. And Vicki, that's why I was like, of all the things we could have talked about, that's why I picked this one out, is because I think we're getting, like, people have forgotten not just like how to do live video, because a lot of people are now practiced enough, we've done it enough, but they've forgotten why and what the strategy is. And that's the critical thing here. The big fear for a lot of us is just getting on the camera. And we can talk about that. Vicki, go wherever you want with this thing. You're the expert. Vicki coaches people on live video, stage speaking, like figuring out how to do it profitably and like make it work for you. So go wherever you want, Vicki. But I like want to make sure people are like, not just like, oh, I'm comfortable on video now because I've been doing it for a few years. But if you're not making money showing up live, then you're doing something wrong. All right. So let's just crack the code on that. Vicki, can we just talk this out?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And to just address, I think the fact that people got comfortable. Now, all of a sudden, I think that comfort level makes them not be as authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're not, if you're all of a sudden it's like, well, I've been doing it, so now I need to be perfect because I've been doing this for a while. And you lose your audience because your audience liked when you screwed up.
Yeah.
When your hair stands straight up and, whenever
you're making me self-conscious.
I know, it's like, but that's what people like, because just like when we tell our story, we want people to see themselves in our videos. Mm-hmm. They want to see, oh, geez, look at that. I can do that. And whenever we get back to that, then all of a sudden people believe us, they trust us, and they watch us.
Yeah. And that's one thing I love about your video capability, like who you are on camera, Vicki, because you're not like, okay, everybody, we're going live. Here we go. We got 3 things. Like you're, oh my gosh, gives me a headache just doing that. You're not that person. You're you. And I really like your chill vibe when you do this. So anyway, I know you got stuff for us. Like,
yeah.
So you mentioned even something we could grab on your website. We'll put that out in a minute, like 5 things, like 5 ways to actually get this right. But can you just start us down that path? Like give us something we can use in this episode.
So I have 5 essentials for on camera. So 5 on camera essentials is a PDF. And I have it taped in front of my desk, because even me, I have to remind myself, okay, first, what is your surrounding like? Mm-hmm. I can't tell you how many people that I have interviewed that are accomplished that don't think about that,
like meaning this physical space in the on screen.
Yes. What are people looking at and are distracted by? So mostly I blur my background, because I don't want you to try to figure out what's that picture of? What does that say? So people will do that, so I blur my background because it's less distracting than having a green screen uh, just a virtual background where you get all kind of goofy when you move around, right?
Yeah.
And
So
so
so me doing this with my background, is that a little bit distracting?
it's just a bit.
For those of you listening in, I have a custom studio built in my house, and I usually am like full on black, like just like endless cave background, but I have 5 inches of foam surrounding me on all sides. So I just turned a bunch of party lights on behind me.
So it is, what do you want people to look at? Your background or listen to what you have to say?
Yeah.
And so that's why, I do the blur background mostly, or I have a boring background, that people will not pay attention to what's there. So the first thing is figure out what your background is. If you've got laundry in the back or, open boxes or garbage or whatever, if you're sitting on your bed, I coach a lot of kids. And during the pandemic, especially, I looked up a lot of noses because
Yeah.
they put their laptop on the ground. And so then I was like looking, like,
Yeah.
no. So the whole point is I want you to feel like I'm looking at you,
Mhm.
that I am connecting with you. And, you learn as you do this to just forget about looking at the screen and just look at the camera.
So true.
And when you do that, then you connect and the person feels like they're talking to you at a bar, at a restaurant, on the couch, and it's more intimate and it's more authentic. So
Yeah.
that's the first thing.
I love that. Thank you for
What's
saying
your
that.
background?
Yeah.
The second is
Welcome, by the
lighting.
way, welcome you viewers who are tuning in live. You're welcome to ask questions as we go along, as always. No worries. If you're watching later, no worries. Ask your questions. We'll send them to Vicki or we'll answer them if we can. Ask your question about anything. Yeah.
So the next thing is the lighting. So you can see that both of us, you can see us clearly. There's no shadows, especially with his black background. That makes him pop out more.
Mm-hmm.
But the lighting is really important, and you can see my lighting. I have in the distance lighting, but I don't have overhead lighting, and I have in front of me, behind my monitor, I have a ring light and then some other spots.
Yeah.
And so that allows my whole face to be lit up, because if I only had lights on the side, then the other side would be shadowed.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have lights in front of me, my whole face would be shadowed. And it goes back to what we talked about, that trust factor. If I turn off my ring lights, the circles under your eyes show, which we don't want ever. Overhead lights too. People will say, no, I have a great light because it's overhead, but that overhead really gives we older people dark shadows under our eyes.
I love it.
So we don't want that. And then if you have a ceiling fan, all of a sudden that light that's hitting is going around and totally distracting. And what did we say early on? We want them to be not distracted. We want to look at you and we want you to be captivated by us and not be distracted.
As you're saying all this, I'm completely distracted because I'm over here playing with all the lights in my studio. I'm a little lucky because I have a lot of features, but it is fun to have good lighting. But folks, you don't have to spend a ton of money on it.
No.
I like this view, by the way, with all my lights off except my key light, because it's very documentary style. I like that.
It is. It is.
And then you can go all witness protection program on it as well. It's so fun to have toys in your studio. But I guess I want to say, that's fun too. But don't get your
that's better.
Don't get just turn off the key light, just playing with all the different options. Don't get your process slowed down by getting expensive and spending 10 hours on Amazon. First of all, just simply lean out to Vicki and say, do you have a training or a simple tutorial, like what my light setup should be? But also just get it done. Do the next best thing and keep working, keep going live.
And that's what my 6-week course is all about. Like, we actually do lives from the second session on. Perfect. So we play with stuff, we do it in Zoom so you can get comfortable, and then we go out and do it live. And again, it's funny because you start to just have fun with it and not worry about oh well, I have to make $1 million from this.
No,
Let's
you
just
don't.
let's just have fun with this.
Have fun. By the way, there's Vicki's website, findyourleadershipconfidence.com. Findyourleadershipconfidence.com. It's on the screen if you're listening, and you can write it down. We'll also link it up in the show notes, as obviously. We always do that. But yeah, tons of stuff on her website, including these tips we're talking about and access to her courses, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, reach out to Vicki. But Vicki, what's number 3?
So the third thing is that it's really actually the second because I skipped to the third. But the second thing is a camera. So you might have a phone that does a great job, and if you're just starting out, use your phone. They have some of the best cameras out there. Just invest in a cheap tripod that you can use. I have a Logitech camera that I love, and I invested in like a $80 stand that I can make it taller. So if I'm standing, or I can move it around to be able to show you things, which is awesome. I can
Yeah.
turn and change. So it's a great camera, and it has a wonderful microphone. So if you don't have a good microphone, you can use the microphone that's on there. So again, not a lot of money, but as you progress, you want to just up your game a little bit.
Love
The
that. Can I just say one more thing about that?
Mhm.
Okay, just to get real practical here, folks. By the way, in my studio, even though I have a custom built-in studio in my house, like I'm lucky on that. I get it. My camera is a Logitech HD 1080p, and it's on Amazon, 80, $100.
Yep.
Like, you don't have to be. I have not gone for a full, like, legit camera, simply because I just don't want it to be that techy. By the way, here's the same lighting on my MacBook Pro. I'm bending down because it's on my stand-up desk. This is the MacBook Pro, and what you just saw up here was the Logitech. And
Mm.
yeah, if
It's
I
better
can,
definition.
it is, yeah, it's better. And from a mic standpoint, I have a studio mic above me, but if you just want to hear like what the
Logitech.
Logitech, I don't know what this sound like. There's the Logitech camera
So
microphone.
so that is a lot cannier.
Yep, and here's the Pro built-in microphones. That's from the MacBook Pro.
Yeah,
So
much
there's 3
better.
examples, right? I'll go back to you
Mhm.
now. There you go. That studio mic, by the way, is Audio Technica, an AT 2020 USB plug-in connection.
Yeah. And I'm actually going right now, I have my earbuds as my headphones, and I am actually going to be going to a Samsung, it's SAMSON microphone,
Hmm.
which is, $150 or something, but it's
Yeah,
great because it's USB plug-in first, and then you can migrate it easily to become digitized so that you
yeah.
can play with it.
You
And
really don't
again,
have to go fancy. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
Okay, I'm
but better
interrupting you.
sound.
What's the
And
next thing?
then, so you have to you have to stay focused on what you're doing. You can't take an hour to decide. And again, if you screw up, you screw up. So if you don't remember something, you make a joke of it and go on. A lot of times when we're doing videos, they're going to be 60 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. You don't want to have a half an hour video. It's not going to be watched.
Mhm.
And if you have a lot to say, then do a series. Today we're going to talk about the camera. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about the sound, whatever it is, or whatever your product or service is. But you want people to want to watch you the next day. So
Mhm.
make it fun, make it interesting,
I love
and
that.
and switch it up, too. There you can have some videos that are educational, you can have some that are entertaining, you can have some that are uh, admiring somebody, giving a quote, giving credit to someone else about a great book, whatever, but it switches it up so it doesn't make people not want to find out what is coming next.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, well, she's just going to give a quote again. I'm not going to watch that.
Yeah,
So,
I love that about being real and just being where you are and
yeah.
keeping it just going. Like right now, we're talking lighting. Y'all can tell my studio window's open because it's been icy and cloudy here for forever now. I I'm not shying away from that, even though we're live and we're talking lighting. You can see my lighting changing. It's just like, be real. And if the dog barks or a noise happens or the lighting changes, like, oh my gosh, isn't it a beautiful day outside? And then just keep talking. Nobody will ever
Yeah.
think of it. And it'll cover over any insecurity you feel
Yeah.
about the lighting just changing. No worries. Just, guys, got my studio open today. Love the sunshine on my face. All right, let's rock and roll and just
Yeah.
go for it, you know?
I know, whenever I did a podcast, and the podcast host has a dog that has more Instagram people than I have. And so the dog started to bark, and I said, bring the dog on. And that, was huge because people love dogs and people
Yeah.
love cats. And so just invite them to join your show, or your 5 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever it is.
Hmm.
Don't worry about it. And,
Yep.
and
So
you
true.
don't apologize. Say, hey, you just heard Barkley. Come on, let me introduce you to him.
Yeah, no kidding. I love that.
And then the other thing is that I really want you to be able to have a point for your message, if that's the reason why you're going online. So if you have a call to action, then end with a call to action. The whole thing, it goes back to how we write a speech. You get an attention getting opening, you give them what you need to give them, the 2 or 3 things, because that's all our brains can hold, and then you close with your call to action. But if all you're doing is to show, I have these 2 great grandboys, and let me just show you they're playing soccer, and that's all there's no point. It's just for you to see me as somebody other than Vicki, the coach, the trainer, the speaker, but Vicki, the Oma, or
Hmm.
Vicki, the mom, the sister, the friend. And
Hmm.
I think that's important too, for people to want to know you more.
Agreed.
And sometimes we only pitch, and we don't let people really see who we are.
Hmm.
And that's, to me, more important than anything. Is you can't like me, you can't trust me unless you know who I am. And if I can't project that on the video, then I'm not going to be successful.
Yeah. I'm going to stop us there because I think we've already given 3 or 4 things, and I don't think we can accomplish more and actually do something about it. And here at Group Coach Nation, we're so focused on doing the work to get the results. So we always say, do work, get results, just do the right work. And you've given us very simple, right work to do. And I love your last point of having a real relational connection, yet with a call to action. If you have a call to action for people to have, drop that in there. And like, for example, I mean, Vicki's here. She has findyourleadershipconfidence.com. That is a call to action. Go to her website, download the stuff to get your live set up correct. Download and jump in on the 6-week process she has. If you really want to dive deep into that, reach out to her in a DM. Like, take some action to thank someone for the information, at least, and to find out more if you need help with that stuff. Like, that's an important piece. And for all of you out there, like in Group Coach Nation, all of you people, y'all are freaking amazing. Like, you are amazing. Your knowledge, your information, your expertise, your experiences in life, that's valuable. And people desperately need to hear from you. And you think, oh, but there's another coach out there that's already got the market, that's bigger, that's already doing this. I know, but I don't resonate with that coach. I resonate with you. And there's a bunch of people like me who are going to be drawn to you because of who you are. So be yourself. Tell people who you are, tell people what you're doing, and invite them to join in with you on that journey. And you'll be shocked that they will. Like, they really will. It's like sending out a text to a bunch of your friends in your neighborhood. Hey, it's finally 65 and sunny outside. I'm going for a walk at 5:30 when we get home from work. Anybody else in? And all of a sudden you get like 4 people going for a walk around with you. It's just that easy, and it works. Just be real and be out there.
So true.
Vicki, thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful chatting with you. I'm all about having conversations, and we had a great one today.
Vicki Noethling, go to her website at findyourleadershipconfidence.com and find your leadership confidence. That's what she does. That's what she coaches about. All right, Group Coach Nation. As always, do work, get results. Just please do the right work. If you have any questions, reach out, ask us. Go to groupcoachnation.com. Hit us up here on this, where you're finding this right here. Drop a message. Ask us whatever you're trying to sort out, and we'll point you to experts like Vicki who can help you, or we'll help you if we can, or we'll just answer a quick question. Everybody keep rocking. Enjoy your day.